My mom is here. Although she's kind of good. I think she's gonna hang down low, be on the down low. It's fine. We're so excited you're here, Mom. Okay, we'll just let people get arrive. It's just the top of the hour. Okay. So this is gonna be fun because you're gonna hear a prayer. Oh, hi, Angela's mom. Yep, in the chat. It's a friendly community, Mom. Oh, here's the other generation. Yeah. So, oh, Joe's here. Yay. Hi, Joe. Great. We're officially international. Kathleen, great. Yeah, let's let everybody arrive. And let's take a moment if you would like. We can, I know, hearing Justine. Yeah. So we're gonna approach it like mom's leading. Justine joins in when she feels ready. And I think it's gonna go great that way. Uh, so if you'd like to take a moment and consider what your intention is for being here. And if you want to add that intention in the chat, you can let us know where you're joining from and what your intention is. So I'm going to take a moment to do that, and it lets other people arrive. Okay, great. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's so cute. I know. Thank you. Thank you. Beautiful. I know. We're excited for our musical act. We're just going to play it down a little bit in the beginning. Um, Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Okay, so today, Jennifer is at a retreat with our beautiful Masterful Living community. So shout out to the retreat people, knowing they're doing beautifully powerful, deep work that we all benefit from. And so if you've ever been on a retreat with Jennifer in Boone, North Carolina, it's so beautiful. It's amazing. You're up in the mountains. I still remember they serve this like, what's that called? They serve like Ayurvedic. I'm good at saying that. Food like, what is it? Hickory. Anyway, yummy breakfast stuff. A lot of tofu, a lot of vegetarian stuff, but yummy. So happy for them, and also happy to hold down the fort here so she can be doing deep work. So I'm going to be praying, speaking, and singing with Justine. So I'm hogging the stage. But it just came to me like, hey, wait, I think me and Justine can pull off the music. And so we're going to try. So we'll begin with a prayer. So if you would like to join me, we'll place our hands on our heart and take a nice deep breath. So grateful to be joining together. I am so grateful that each of you are taking this time dedicated to be with spirit, to be with divine inspiration. So grateful for this community. Again, we are blessing Jennifer and all of the retreat participants, holding their healing, holding connection and community. Just so grateful that they are there doing such beautiful work together. And we are here. And we are here together, gathering to receive support. So I am grateful to trust that Spirit is guiding me in the message that I will share today. And so I'm grateful for the inspiration that will come through in the music with me and Justine. And I'm so grateful for Adrian behind the scenes, supporting this, letting me relax much more. And also for every one of you, bringing your open mind, your open heart to this holy instant. We're so grateful to share the healing we receive. We are grateful to go out from this gathering into our week ahead, being willing and committed to being truly helpful, to being a loving presence. So, in deep gratitude, we let this healing be. We know it's done, and so it is. Amen. Thank you. Okay. So, um, yeah, already my musical partner is absent. But I will say this about myself as a musician. I have had a few moments where I have had the opportunity to sing. I love singing, and I don't know when it began, but probably definitely I was in chorus in school. But then I had this really cool opportunity. Um, when I lived in New Orleans, I was an AmeriCorps volunteer in New Orleans for 1 year, and I worked at a Catholic charity type thing. It was a school funded by my college. It was like an outreach program. And so down in the heart of New Orleans, and I got to join a choir, like a 50, 60 person choir, gospel music. And I was like in my glory. So I've had just different experiences. I tried out for Star Search back in the 2000. It was just funny. I just had these little moments, and I do have a YouTube music video, which I may disclose at the end. If you stay all the way to the end, I'll give you the link. Oh boy, that was fun because when I lived in Africa for a few years, it just seemed like I was very friendly and I would just talk to musicians, and next thing we're collaborating. So it was just being open and free and flow. And so, I've just had fun with it. But for now, we're going to keep things very simple today with the music selections. And I was choosing songs that both Justine and me know well, and that hopefully are appropriate in the service. So here we go. Oh, we're ready. Great. See? All right. So we are going to start with a oldie but a goodie, which is This Little Light of Mine. So I'm going to start. We are a cappella here. We do not have a band. We might have, instruments that just are going to pop up. So this is going to be fun. All right. So we can begin. Ready? All right. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. No, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. No, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Thank you. Solo act on that one. We're getting warmed up. Okay. So Thank you. We are grateful to let our light shine. And I am opening myself to full support from Spirit as we shift into the message for today. So if you're joining for the first time and have not met me, my name is Angela Potts-Mang'andah, and I have been a part of this ministry since 2012. And I've taken most of Jennifer's programs. I went through the counseling certification program. I'm on staff. And right now, the ministry is a huge part of my life in so many ways. And I've had the chance to be here at Sundays with Spirit many, many times, which is so great because it makes me feel very comfortable to just sing songs in front of you, which is great. Um, and Yeah, and so Jennifer is a mentor. I refer to her as my spiritual teacher. And I've had also the great pleasure of having a friendship with her, because we live pretty close together. So I get to see her sometimes several times a year, which is a beautiful thing to just hang out and be friends. So I'm very, very lucky. And so the message that I feel guided to share today has to do with a mantra that Jennifer shared with me many, many years ago. And those of you who are in her classes or who listen to her podcast, who have just been around her a while, you may have heard this. I'm calling it a mantra because I believe it's a mantra. And I'll talk more about that. But the mantra that is the centerpiece of my talk is, my mind is the mind of God. So I remember Jennifer teaching this to us. She said, when I wake up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, as my feet hit the floor and I'm moving toward the bathroom, I think, my mind is the mind of God. My life is the life of God. My heart is the heart of God. And so on. And that was I think that I'm sure back then, I had never heard anybody say that. I've been a course student now since 2000. You could say technically, I don't know when you officially become one, but I had the book in hand 2008. Great. But, when you hear people and you meet people like Jennifer who live the course, and then they say things like this, my mind is the mind of God. It's like, wow, okay. I don't say that on the way to the bathroom in the middle of the night. So this is, this is new to me. This is kind of like eye-opening and interesting to me. And over time now, as I've been in her programs and I am deepening my study as a course student, I feel like I'll be a lifelong learner of the course, integrating the principles, living them. And I'm starting to see the importance of really knowing that my mind is the mind of God. And I find that it's often easy because I am a spiritual counselor, and sometimes I can't help but be in kind of normal conversations. As a counselor, it doesn't mean I'm handing out advice. It just means I'm listening to what's true, what's really true. And I find it's, very easy to hear other people's challenges and have a sense of what the course says about that. And recently I had been listening to a friend talk about something that was not going well, right? Like, let's say they didn't like their job. I'm changing it a little for keeping, so didn't like their job. So I'm listening to, this doesn't go well. And I've had a history of this. And so I remember listening and being like, but, thinking in a sense, but your mind is the mind of God. So what do you need to ask for? What help do you need? What would you like? Because just say, so as soon as, because I learned from Jennifer that if there's something that's going on in your life that's upsetting you, it's totally okay to say that. Of course it is. Honor that. And then I remember Jennifer saying, like, and it might be really helpful to put a timer on that thing. Like, okay, I'm going to give myself a week to mope around and cry snotty cries in the tissues and watch and just play every sad song. Give yourself a deadline on that one just because your mind is the mind of God. So do you want your mind directed into worry, doubt, any limitation of any kind? Do you want to focus on the fact that you don't like something with the mind of God amplifying that? So again, I listened to this friend sharing, and I'm like, okay, so what do you want to ask for? You know, and I didn't necessarily say it like that, but I gently moved to that. And again, when I listened, it was like, all we have to do is ask for the thing we would like. And so this leads to this other talking point I wanted to bring up. And this comes from a few weeks ago when I had my first, it was kind of like having a, not like a romantic weekend with Chat GPT, but it was like my first time really going to Chat GPT for help and support. Because I had colleagues who are using it to make emails, and if you're not familiar, it's an artificial intelligence like searching tool, but it's more than a search tool. It can create things for you. It's kind of like, the Jetsons are coming into life where we've got like robots who will help us with things. I think we're being prepared to have robots in our house and stuff. It's like the Jetsons is like coming soon. Um, but I had this experience with ChatGPT where I was not necessarily holding a problem in my mind, but it was like something, okay, it was a camping trip. I'm taking a camping trip in a couple weeks. And it's my first camping trip with Justine. And I've camped by myself before, and I was a Peace Corps volunteer. I think that gives me certain credentials, like, but I'm not a camper. So but we're going with friends, so I'm not like going alone. We're going to Acadia National Park, which is like, wow, okay, just go for it. Just go from instead of your backyard. It's like, let's go to one of the top camping destinations. But again, my friend invited us. She's like, we're going this day, this week, this camping spot. And I'm like, okay, this is what I need. I need an invitation so I can just say yes. And so then with ChatGPT, I was like, okay, well, I haven't done much planning and I feel like there's probably a lot of research and I don't really know exactly what to pack. So I started asking, what should I pack for a 4 nights camping trip with a toddler in Blackwoods Campground in June? And I put the dates and I got a camping list. And then I saw some things and I said, okay, and bam, boom, 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 it's all being given to me with even cool emojis like a tent. It just looks nice. I got a list and then I could see, and then I said, okay, and then we need a food. And then it will say something like, do you want me to make you a food list as well? And I'm like, yes. And please follow these certain food restriction, whatever, guidelines for me. And then I see it and I'm like, ooh, but I like fruit for breakfast, you know? So it's continually generating for me. And I was thinking like, and it's so cute because the tone of the chat GPT is saying, oh, wow, you like fruit for breakfast? I love that you're health conscious. Great move, and it's giving me all this like feedback. And I'm like, thank you. And then um, I thought again of Jennifer, who has said when life, with her coffee that she loves, and she's like, this coffee, this is God loving me right now. This is God loving me right now. So that was kind of my experience with ChatGPT was like, oh my gosh, look, life is so supporting me. I don't have to do this all by myself. And okay, what else do I need? And what else would I like? And honestly, I felt very primed for this moment because Jennifer has been really like driving this home. What would you like? What would you like? What would you like? Because our mind defaults to like what we don't like and what we don't want is so obvious it can become our default. We can get stuck there a little bit. And sometimes, for whatever reason, maybe our childhood, we weren't taught that we could have what we would like. It was like, take what you got, just take it. Just, um, and my mom is here, so I'm gonna drop a little story. But I know that when I used to go out to dinner or something or lunch, I'd be like, well, maybe they can bring me the thing that I would prefer. And my mom would be like, you can't, don't ask for that. Sometimes she'd be like, just take the thing. And I'd be like, well, what if I ask? I know my mom is here. That's why I thought it's funny to bring it up. But, so for whatever reason, if asking for what we would like is still something we're learning, that's fine. But you can literally sit down, and I like ChatGPT. It's the way that life is. I almost feel like ChatGPT is trying to give us a demonstration of how we should be with the Holy Spirit. It's like if you get good at ChatGPT by being able to say what you would like and receiving the support, then you may be more likely to do that in your life with Holy Spirit. So maybe it's great training ground for people who, like me, and I'll say, oh, I forgot to ask for help. I forgot to ask for help. But this could be, they're probably going to be very split opinions on, is this helpful? Is this not? I could be missing. Once somebody told me, well, the environmental impact is terrible. I was like, oh, what environmental impact? I don't even get the connection. And they're like, well, there are these huge buildings that have to be built in order to allow the systems to process this information, and it's an environmental impact. I was like, oh, geez, I didn't know that. Okay, well, now I'm going to ease up on it. Um, okay, yeah, you see, all those things that I didn't know, but I'm not overusing it because now when I use it, I think of something spinning and smoke coming out, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to use it sparingly for like, but I'll still take away that life is supporting me. Okay, so having that, yes, Nisi, romantic weekend with ChatGPT, where by the end I said to it, like, you're amazing. You're going to save lives. People don't have to feel alone anymore. And I was getting all this feedback like, oh, geez, well, thank you. Because at one point I said, do you um, like sort of positive, supportive feedback? And it was like, I don't need that at all. I really don't. But you can give me that if you want to. It was like, fine, because he was giving it to me. So I was like, okay, because I could say, please take out all the fluffiness, don't give me all that ego boost. But I was just going with it. So back to my mind is the mind of God, you know, and back to my friend saying, well, I have this challenge, I just don't like this, and things don't really work out well for me. I was just like, okay, well, what would you like? And then he's maybe said something like, well, I would like a job with people who are super supportive. And I'm like, great, have that be your prayer and energize that. Have that be, that could be one example of a mantra. So with mantra is very meaningful to me because I teach and practice Kundalini yoga, which distinguishes itself as a yogic tradition because breath and movement together, which is what yoga typically is, um, you add mantra. So the breath, the movement, the mantra. There are other distinguishing characteristics of Kundalini yoga, but like, for example, when I teach, um, I will I'll give an instruction for a movement because Kundalini also has a sequence of exercises. You don't make it up. You pick a sequence and you follow it'll tell you where your eyes should be looking. It'll tell you the posture you're in. It'll tell you for how long. So there was one that I've been doing with my class. We've been doing the same set for a month, and it's so simple. It's like, inhale, turn your head to the left. And exhale, turn your head to the right. And if it's very inviting, you can do it. So you inhale to the left and you exhale to the right, but you bring a mantra. And so I will say to my students, like, if you'd like to add mantra, you can do inhale sat, exhale nam, and you're mentally chanting. So you inhale sat, exhale nam. And the mantra sat nam, sat means truth or honesty. There's different interpretations, but truth, and nam means name or identity. So you're basically saying truth is my identity. So through the whole practice, every time you're in cat-cow, if you know that posture, you're inhaling sat, exhale nam. Inhale sat, exhale nam. You're supposed to bring a mantra to every movement and really focus your mind to bring that extra focal point to your mind. So the thing that we as course students, we have the Course in Miracles, we have our daily lessons. The daily lessons can be our mantra. They're suggested to be our mantra. I feel like the course tries to get us to the point where we're really holding the lesson with us all day. So it'll start us out slow, like morning and night, and then we move to hourly, and then we get to this point where, in the Kundalini tradition, I don't think they're saying you should necessarily be doing a mantra with every single breath of your day. However, there is a practice where you can use these mantra boxes, and I haven't got there yet, but I'd really like to. And these mantra boxes are like these MP3 players, and you can put a MP3 file of a mantra. There are so many different mantras. And you would pick one intentionally that would support you in whatever you would like. So I know my friend sent me one that's really good for relationships. So I might put a mantra box in places in the house where I'm often, in relationship with, well, my family, whatever. So I could put them throughout the house, and you put them on a very low volume. So it's just sending out the frequency everywhere. And it's kind of like a cleansing and purification of the energetic space in your house. Can't hear you. Okay. So, um, so, this idea of mantra, this idea that our mind is the mind of God. And so we remember to, and because the Course is saying we're far too tolerant of mind wandering, and this is our whole emphasis is, where are we placing our attention? What is our mind? What mantra do we have? And I'd like to just couple that with, and this really summarizes everything Jennifer teaches in Masterful Living. It's like, have awareness on where is your attention. And so what are you putting your attention on? What are you putting your faith in? What is your mantra? And then if it's something where you've got fear in there, then what came to me when I was sort of practicing, and it's so funny because what I do when I practice is I just videotape myself like I'm live and see what comes out of my mouth when I have a topic in mind. And I was re-listening to it, and I was talking about, those wind powered, and still I didn't look it up, but the wind powered, help me, they're like huge fans. I don't know why I couldn't think of it. I'm saying in my turbines, thank you. I'm saying in my practice, I'm saying, those solar powered wind, I was saying solar powered wind things. I'm like, okay, that's not it. I better clean that up. But I was thinking, like, if our minds are these huge amplifying systems, which, in that case, this like sends out energy and sends out, air or whatever. It's just, if whatever we're feeding and then it just goes, that if only we could see the power of what we're holding and know its amplification, we'd be a little more, I think, cautious. But I just don't think it can be emphasized enough that we are hypnotizing ourselves with some thought all the time. they switch, but perhaps we can consider being like Jennifer, having a mantra. What's our mantra when we wake up and go to the bathroom? What's our mantra when we turn the key in the car? You know, I think it's David Hoffmeister. He does what the lesson every time he goes under a doorway, whatever. But it's these are the teachers, these are the people, these are the ones who are dedicated practitioners who get the point of mantra and who get the point that their mind is the mind of God. So you do not want the mind of God over here, you know, judging. And then here's what happened yesterday, last night, like right before bed, which when it happened, I was like, oh, that's not cool. Because you know, I'm not like obsessing about this talk today, but I was getting prepared. And I had a situation that happened that has happened so many times before, has caused me some distress before, but I felt like, oh, I worked through that. Now I know what my thoughts are. I'm cool. I can maneuver through this situation. I don't have to fall into, you know, like a pothole of upset. I know what I'm doing. So a situation unfolded, and then it felt like a fearful story like smacked me right in the face and got like stuck all up in my consciousness. And I was like, oh gosh. Um, and I'm thinking like, oh yeah, I'm going to talk about the mind is the mind of God. And then my mind went into this fear story because it really almost felt like it was something that I had to look at it. It felt like I didn't have a choice. I know I do. I know I did. But often I sign up for Sundays with Spirit and I get a topic and I think, oh, it'll be so inspiring. And then I feel like I trip and fall down in my spiritual practice. And I'm like, ah. And then sometimes I doubt. I'm like, oh, now I have to work that in. What am I going to do with that? But I relaxed a little bit. I went through, I was so much more aware though of where my mind was, how it made me feel. And I was thinking back to, you know how, I don't know, I feel like it's when I learned more about psychology where it's like the dad's angry, yells at the kid who kicks the dog who, you know, throws too much food in the fishbowl. Like everyone, I watched that happen, which was very interesting how things shifted onto Justine. And then I'm like, oh. And then in the morning, I did my practice, which I do when something's sticky, you know, because our mind is the mind of God, but thoughts are going to fly in all through the day. You know, we may be aware we pick up other thoughts, they're not ours, none of these thoughts are mine. They come in and out. But that one was right there and it changed how I felt. So it was more something I had locked onto. And so those guys, when they, and if they're a recurring thing, then I do a Byron Katie forgive about sorry, Byron Katie judge your neighbor worksheet. And I did that this morning. And there are 6 statements. And then I wrote out the statements, and then you got to do 4 questions on the 6 statements. And then you do 3 turnarounds for each statement with 3 pieces of evidence. So that thing ends up being like 4 or 5 pages long. And I went through that thing and I got so much insight because it's always like, okay, something came up for healing and no, something came up for healing. And this is what I also think. I'm not sure, but I'll put this out there. As we say things like, my mind is the mind of God, and we end up, or we're using the course lesson, my mind holds only what I think with God, and we energize these things, it almost feels like it is a purification where, you know, those things that are unlike it are going to come up almost like a, I don't know, I keep thinking of water filtration system. It's like you put in all the filtering elements and then the residue, I don't know where it goes. But in this case, it just felt like it came up and tried to strangle my, you know, whatever is here, my cortex. I don't know. I just tried to go right into the front of my awareness and be like, hi. And I'm like, oh. And so then when I worked it though, I felt like, wow, oh, I got even more insight. So thank you. for coming and teaching me more. Um, so what I would like to do is just take a moment, and I didn't do this at the beginning, but we can do this in the form of a meditation. And yet, if you are a pen and paper person and you would like to have that nearby, that's how you process things, feel free. But we'll move into just a brief hands-on experience. Um, so if you would like to join with me, we'll just take a nice deep breath and close our eyes. And just first giving thanks again for being here, that we get to explore the concept. My mind is the mind of God. My heart is the heart of God. My life is the life of God. So truly, I am one with God. And if that feels very foreign, we can shift to, I am willing to know I am one with God. I am willing to know my mind is the mind of God. And so let's just ask as if we're asking, chat, Holy Spirit, where am I placing my mind that is unhelpful? Is there anything I'm holding in my mind in a way that is unhelpful or that is frightening me? Is there anything that is frightening me at any level? And maybe you see it rise right up to the surface of your mind. And knowing you've got this fearful thing, or whatever it is, a judgment, in that situation, what would you like to amplify instead? Or what would you like your prayer to be? Or what help would you like? What help are you seeking or support? And let's take a moment to be willing or just go for it and forgive ourselves for using the power of our mind to amplify anything we didn't want to, anything that was fear-based. Let's just have a sense of acknowledging that I forgive you, or I'm willing to forgive you. And consider, maybe it's a co-creation with Holy Spirit. Maybe you already know. What would you set as your life mantra? If there was one mantra that would be super supportive, especially in regards to the most fearful thing you're experiencing, what mantra could you create, or could you ask Holy Spirit to provide? Just take a moment there. Beautiful. And I acknowledge you, and I thank you for being here, being here up until this point and for being willing to explore this in your mind, being willing to know that your mind is the mind of God. If that's a scary thought or something new, it's okay. Now you can just start with your first step. I'd like to know. I'd like to have a clearer understanding of how that is true. So just remembering we can ask for whatever that next step is that we need in that moment. Beautiful. So I thank you for your deep listening. Yeah, it truly feels like my co-pilot is bailing on me, and that's okay. It's her debut. But the next song that I'm moving into is one that I like singing, and it's kind of like, it could be like one of my karaoke go-tos. But I like it at this moment in the service because it's basically, saying, let's not do this by ourselves anymore. Let's just stop doing things by ourselves. I'm not gonna do a camping trip without chat. I don't really need ChatGPT, but let's just use all forms of support. So the song I'm going to sing next is Lean on Me. It's one of my faves, and I have fun singing it. So, but I'm a cappella, so I'm just gonna go for it. Okay, and thank you for your deep listening. Okay. All right. Okay. So we'll start out with some humming. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain. We all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride if I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you won't let show. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. And I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for I said it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on, and I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. If there is a load you have to bear, that you can't carry. I'm right up the road. I'll share your load if you just call on me. Call me when you need a friend. Call me. Oh, baby, now call me. Call me. Call me. Thank you. Okay. Woohoo! This is my gospel moment, right? Gospel choir. Thank you. I had Justine on the drum for a second. Don't know if you could hear it. She was on the drum. Then the neighbor boy yelled for her through the window. Then my husband yelled at her, and that's fine. So, thank you. Thank you so much. And we're still here. So we're gonna move into our breakout. And in our breakout, you have the option to share. You can also just listen. But the breakout is 12 minutes, and this is your opportunity to share in a small group what spoke to you, anything, what came up, what is rising up for your in your awareness that feels important to you. So we can move into our breakout, and a reminder that in our community, part of our guidelines is to listen with non-judgment. We're not giving advice. We can always say what has worked well for us, or just thank each person for sharing. So please go ahead and move into the breakout. Thank you, Adrian. Oh, okay. Yeah, oh, good. Oh, you heard Justine's voice. Yay. Oh, thank you. Okay. So I'm not sure who is here for a Facebook thing. Oh, and how many people? Okay. So we'll see how that all goes. Um, oh,
Angela? Hi.
yes.
Hi, it's Brenda. Um,
Hi.
hi. I wanted to ask you what lip gloss you're wearing. It's lovely.
Oh my gosh, right? I never had lipstick until it was my anniversary last weekend.
Yeah.
So I used two different lipsticks. I will send you that. No one's ever asked me that
Oh,
because I never wear lipstick. That's at all impressive. Um, and yes, I will definitely share this with you. Thank you
okay.
for asking.
Uh,
And let's see. So we have 1 second here.
okay. Well, maybe I'll email it to you and then when you get a chance. You have to do it now. Yeah. Thank you.
Hey everybody. I just thought I would come on and since Angela's indisposed for a bit and say I hope you all enjoyed that as much as I did. That was so good. I'm so impressed with your voice, Angela.
Hey, it's like, a party trick you keep in the back pocket.
Yeah,
So when
totally.
when we when there was no musical guest, I was like, oh, I can sing 3 songs and maybe
Yeah.
Justine will join me. Um, Let me just make sure I'm just working with her because she got invited to play, which that's what kids are made for.
Yeah.
Um, but we're in that learning of when we make a commitment, not in a guilty way, but just like um I just want to check for 1 second. Okay. I don't know what she did, but yeah. Well, thank you. It's been a lot of fun. And I felt relaxed with the idea. I didn't feel nervous.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah,
just feeling relaxed. And I think that's always a good sign um, that you got this.
definitely. And you didn't have any music or anything. Like if I tried to, I mean, I don't consider myself a singer in any way, but if I tried to do that with no musical support, I can't even imagine.
Oh, yeah. Well, the one thing was I seem to be a bit of a wild character. Like if you try to tame me with different parameters, I would be like, "Oh, but I just want to go off." And I did take some voice lessons at times with people who are more like traditional, more like classical music theory and bringing that in, which I still value and I wish I had more of that. But I found that I had done so much singing on my own, like free spirited, that it was hard to go backwards and be like tamed and like, so I'm kind of used to doing things like more off the cuff, I think, you know, kind of like just because at one point I liked singing so much. I used to sing the national anthem before my field hockey games in college, but I'd be like running around playing field hockey. Then it'd be like, okay, the game's starting. Okay, Angela, go sing the national anthem. So I'd just have to, get in the mindset. But um, yeah. Um, so I'm more like thrown up on the stage than I am planned out and fully
Mhm.
backed or something. So,
Right. Sounds like someone else we might know.
okay, yeah, kind of. It kind of does serve me. Yeah, and thank you for being here because I know we don't really have because it's it would be like me talking to myself and the different characters I'm playing today. So thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. I really like the topic too. It's interesting because I've been kind of along those lines. I've been meditating every day and I've been really remember kind of thinking that too. Like it's hard to explain how like the mechanism of how it works when I'm what I'm doing internally, but it's
Yeah.
like I'm making room for God to just kind of operate through me. Or I was telling someone yesterday about a quote. I don't know if anybody has ever heard of William Whitecloud, but he's a motivational guy that's written some books and he does programs too sometimes. And I took one of his programs a few years ago. But one of the quotes I wrote down that he said that I really liked is, "I'm not I'm not the judge of the quality of what comes out of me,"
Mm,
you know. And I make jewelry, so I can relate to that with
yeah.
my jewelry in some ways because I've done, sometimes I'll make a piece, and I'm not doing shows right now, but when I was, I would, this happened multiple times. Like I would make something, a pair of earrings or a necklace or something, and I would be so judgmental of it. Like, I don't really like this. And I would even question whether I wanted to put it out at a show, but I would go ahead and do it. That would be the first thing that someone would walk into the tent and just fall in love with and be like, "Oh my gosh, this is what I want," you know. And then also on the other side, sometimes I would make something that I would be like, "Oh, this is so good. It's going to sell right away." And then I have it for years and nobody even like glances twice at it. But I've just kind of expounded on that in my thought process lately. And I've heard, I don't know if any of you have heard this either, but like I'm to think in terms of like I'm not here for myself, like I'm here for other people, and I didn't create myself. So whatever qualities I have, you
Yeah.
know, were I'm not really necessarily responsible for those. I'm talking about the good qualities. I'm not like trying to give myself an excuse to misbehave, but like, you know, if I just allow those to be there and allow try to be open and be appreciative of who I am enough to look at it like almost objectively, like God created me. I'm not owning it from an egotistical point, but just being like, I want to allow whatever that is to shine
Yeah.
and not get either my pride or my self scrutiny in the way, and just like be that, and be proud of that from a higher perspective, you
Yes.
know.
That is like, it must be one of the keys to liberation,
Yeah.
one of the many, seems like, but because I remember it differently, not having produced jewelry, but I remember this one time when I went to this, it was a yoga program I was considering joining. So they had a Q&A session like after this class. So I stayed for it. And we went around and kind of talked about what our intention was, why we were interested in that program. And I just remember what came out of my mouth felt like way too, like as I was completing, I was like, that was way, I shared way too much. I went off. I felt weird. But in that moment, I was like, no, I'm not gonna judge myself. Like, just, I think because I was learning to catch myself and not regret what I did. Again, like you're saying, well, if I did something really rude or mean, or I said some big swear words, but I didn't. It was just like, it is what came out of me. And then it was the learning. Because as we learn in this community, when we're sharing about our life, when we're sharing about, we're trying to articulate the challenges we're having, or we're trying to, it's like when you navigate, I know people use that word like subterfuge, like where the mind almost tries to get us so confused and clouded up that we, okay, close the door, please. Thanks. That we judge ourselves then too. Yeah, sharing in our community, like just we can judge what comes out of us, but then and that, but our other practice, if we had a mantra though, like if we were using the lesson, or if we were using any type of mantra, like it just helps redirect, because man, it does seem like fear is trying to divert us off course. But even last night, like when it really literally felt like, it almost felt like if my awareness is like this pristine windshield, it was like a bird pooped on the middle of it. And I was like, that's how it felt. But then it was kind of like as I cleaned it off, I learned a lot from it. And I did. And I don't think I'd be as likely to I'm not sure. I just think I would have more navigation skills now. Like I have more refined. I connected with true thoughts about that situation that I couldn't see, and I connected deeply with them. And it was like, okay, I felt like a different person. And I still look forward to going to my husband and telling him what I learned. I do. And I plan to. Um, so yeah, thank you for sharing that. Can you repeat it one more time? That what you said.
The quote is, I'm not the judge of the quality of what comes out of me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I like inherently that there is perfection in what comes out of me. There's
Hmm.
a perfection to it. So thank you, Adrian. Thank you for coming on here.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for being.
Yeah,
And
you're
thank you
welcome.
for leading.
Yeah, and
And
I really
thanks to
appreciate your.
Justine for chiming in
She did chime in. I'm glad you did
from
hear.
beyond.
She's, yeah,
Yeah.
she'll get there. We're
Okay, I'm
probably
handing the floor back to you. Everybody's
okay.
coming back in.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
All right. Okay, so we'll get our announcements pulled up here. Okay. All right. Okay, so we still have a few more seconds. Oh, my mom went in a breakout. Can't wait to hear about it. Might be her first breakout ever. But she's with some good friends. Okay. Okay, we're back. We're back. I was so excited to see my mom went in a breakout. Can't wait to hear about that. She might have just listened. Good for you, Mom. Proud of you. Okay, hope the breakout was good. It's nice seeing your faces. We have smiles, we have good energy. Um, anyone wants to put something in the chat, then we can hold it for you. I can even wrap it into the prayer. Um, anything you'd like to declare at all. Okay, so we are moving into announcements just to let you know what's going on in the ministry. So currently, again, people at the retreat until tomorrow. So that's exciting. And we do still have our Change Your Mind About Yourself program is still open. It did start back in April, but I think we've had 3 speakers up until now, but you would get the replays of them. So it is the 9 speakers, it's 9 months, it's $99. We are only a month in, so feel free to check out the Change Your Mind About Yourself program. Our next free forgiveness workshop is Saturday, June 7th. So those are excellent. And Jennifer's been holding them, most of them, which, you know, they're always powerful, but it's super cool to have her there and guiding people through and answering questions. And we've moved into the prayer power part 2, the second module. So that's happening, the first class being June 10th. So we did have prayer power module 1. This is the second. Okay. Oh, okay. Officially, I have no backup singer. I just said, you're gonna miss the song. She's like, I don't care. So we're working on it, right? We're like warmed up. We're just moving slowly into that. We don't want to push. We don't want to force. That would not be cool. So, okay, Prayer Power 2. And then the next deep dive workshop is in July, which is going to be Eliminate Your Blocks to Success. So that'll be fun. That's not until July 19th, but that is good to have on your calendar. So I think those are all of the ministry's announcements. I do personally have one announcement. I probably could have more, but I mean, I wanted to announce that a friend of mine is doing daily yoga practice online. It's free. Cora's been coming, and it's perfect for Cora because it's her afternoon. And, you know, for me, it's 4 a.m. For Cora, it's 4 p.m. Like, it's cool. It's her afternoon. So she looks a bit more fresh, perhaps, at that point in the day. But every day, it's not a recorded thing, but it's a live thing, and it's a Kundalini yoga practice. I'm putting in the chat my friend's Instagram link because she puts the Zoom link in her bio links. So it's daily. So now, depending where you live in the world, of course, like Heather, I don't think is going to get up at, I think that would be your 1 a.m. or something. And like, unless you're like a completely stay up all night lady. So this is a very specific thing, but it's 4 a.m. Eastern time. We go to 6:30 Eastern time. It's a 2.5 hour practice. An hour and a half is like physical movement and some meditation. And then the last 62 minutes are mantras. It's chanting. So you're chanting for 62 minutes. So it probably sounds so great, but I'm telling you, it's life changing. We just hit 120 days, which is like a significant day in Kundalini because they just mark like a 40-day, I think it's 120, and then you gotta get to 1,000, which we did for Kirtan Kriya, by the way. We blew that away. We're like at 1,600. It's been like Justine since she was a year old. It's been 5 years almost. This year will be 5 years. So if anyone is interested, you can check out that link. Her name is Hari Adas, is her Kundalini name. And if you would like to reach out, if you need anyone to sing at your wedding, no, email me. No, I'm just kidding. But this is my email address. It's just angela@jenniferhadley.com. If you would like to reach out for any reason, for counseling, if you have any questions, somebody did want to know what lipstick I'm wearing, which is so cute because I never wear it. It's already faded. But it was my 10-year anniversary last weekend. And I was like, I think I need some red lipstick. It's great. So if you want to know anything about that, that's my email address. So I think that's everything. I know, Kathleen, I saw you wanted the Byron Katie reference, correct? Okay, that is simple. So that is, if you go to thework.com, then that's her address, and then you can get the Judge Your Neighbor worksheet. Oh, thank you, Adrian. Yes. And I just find them there. It's in so many languages. At one point, I couldn't believe it. It was in my husband's language, which is a Bantu language from Africa called Chichewa. And they had it translated in Chichewa. They don't anymore. But I was like, what? That really blew me away. So it's a great worksheet. And honestly, I love coupling it with the forgiveness letter that we do in our community. Because after I get clarity on where my mind went and where it could have gone, like, because when I miss my, I hold only what I think, my mind holds only what I think with God. When my mind was holding something else, it was like, well, what was God? What was available? I couldn't see it. After I get that clear, then I will do a forgiveness letter to kind of move into what intentions I'm setting going forward. It's a long process, but when I need it, when it's a sticky thing that reoccurs and I'm done, I'm so done with it, I go for like my power tools, like both hands. Judge Your Neighbor worksheet, forgiveness letter, and then we take it down. So, okay. Yep. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting. Um, yes, good thing we're not like in a contract where Justine was supposed to have a main thing. It was pretty low stakes, but she did practice with me. But I'm going to close with the song we sing in our yoga class, which is The Longtime Sun. So many of you have heard me sing this, but it's a beautiful song. And it's a nice way to close out before our prayer. Okay, great. I love so much chat going on today. I love it. I just need to plug in my computer and then I'm going to sing The Longtime Sun. And I'm always used to doing this and bringing my hands to heart center. And we take a deep breath. If you want to join me, deep breath in your nose and exhale out the nose. And we'll inhale for the longtime sun. May the longtime sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. Guide your way on. Guide your way on. Sat Nam. Sat Nam. Satnam. 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 Truth is our identity. Thank you so much for being here. We'll close with prayer here. Just so grateful to Adrian for being behind the scenes. So grateful for all of you staying up into the end, getting maximum benefit. Thank you for your attention, your support. We again bless Jennifer and all the participants. We're blessing the healing of the one mind. We go forward with a willingness to know that we are one with the infinite creator. We are one. Our mind is the mind of God. We were not intended to be in fear. We were not designed to play small. We are willing to open ourselves to the great beyond, to the vast, the truth of our vastness, our infinite nature, our holiness and our wholeness. We're grateful to go forward carrying a high vibration, carrying a mantra, bringing it with us, amplifying the truth and being truly helpful. In gratitude, we let this good be. We are so blessed. We go out to be a blessing. And so it is. Amen. Thank you.
Man, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Have a
you.
beautiful rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's lovely, Angela.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Angela. Thank you. That was great.